In this quick video demonstration, I would like to show you actually how I'm going to sketch a profile to create kind of like a profiled rim, and then use the rail command and the newly created surface as a rail. So you see I created my new layer. I can zoom in, left click, right click, left click, and maybe control click. And there I have my curve positioned. I'm going to turn off all the other profiles so I just see my previous generated surface and this arc. Let's actually make sure that this point, for example, is really on the curve. So I can turn on curve snap and then snap maybe to there. Okay, so there was a subdivision. So the starting point really starts on the curve. Now here's actually a really interesting thing about how we can work with the rail tool and flowing into neighbor surfaces. So I'm starting the rail 1, 1, and by default I'm going to set this one maybe to tangent. And then I select this as my generation curve, and this upper edge of the side mesh I select as my rail. I click next. Now I'm selecting this edge of my surface as the generation curve and this one as my rail. Next. And you see I'm basically using at the beginning a profile to create a surface, and then step by step I'm actually using the edges of my surfaces to create those surfaces. So I'm nearly done. And here actually I need to blend from this generation curve to this one. So I have actually to set this one to 2, 1, 2, and there. But I don't really like this result. You can see actually I have some spans, and here I have actually lines on the surface, along the surface. I don't really like this, so I'm going to undo this one. So U and U, and I think I clicked by accident onto there. Well, I guess it has to be that way. Well, purpley, that's because I'm blending from this surface edge to this surface edge, and actually, whoops, this one should just be position. I don't need that tangent one. But tangent I would like to go down into that part. So let's take a look what we have. So what is actually really interesting at this approach is that you see the first surface is created by this profile. So if I select this profile, you see all these surfaces are magenta, which because they're step by step building each other based on this initial curve. And if I am going to maybe, oops, I still have this one turned on, maybe select this point and move it, you see the whole profile updates. So this is actually pretty fantastic. You also notice actually, you see, I moved this point really far to the right, but my surface I'm creating is not going that way. And that is because I set the surface to blend G1 into this surface by using the surface edge. So the software tries to figure out kind of like an in-between value. let's stay there. Okay, perfect. Another interesting thing about this approach is if I select one part and I go to this rail command, if, for example, now I set this one to 0, not much is going to change. If I set this one to G2, you see actually everything nearly updated a little bit as well. G1, G0. So that's because when this profile changes a lot, then the other profiles I think will follow it. So if I set this one to G0, so let's see what happens if I select this point and move it really far to there. You see this part actually starts to break. That's actually more than normal because this surface is generated G0 by using this edge. If I go, for example, and select this one and say G0, see, they all then do the same. Now the problem is if I change one surface from G1 to G2, then I have to adjust all those additional surfaces as well. So in this case, it might be good to simply know what you want. I knew that I wanted to blend everything, so the rim should blend nicely into the main body of my trash can. So I created this rail with having rail as G1 from the beginning. And then actually I can still have that freedom to sculpt, for example, that transition a little bit. Okay, so this is, for example, an interesting way how we can quickly create the lid for actually a trash can by just working with one profile and then quickly driving the surfaces and adjusting them by adjusting the profile and using all our previously generated surface meshes to create all the transitions. And you will see also that because I created hard edge models, then rounded them, I have a nice path with rounded edges to be used as rails. So the order at which you do what really helped you.